All right, we're here, we're back. Conversations with the topic, continuing with what was going down on March 1st at the Barclays Center. We talked about everything there with the main event. Now we got to go to the co-feature bout. The WBA super lightweight title was on the line as Jose Valenzuela was going in there defending the title against Gary Antuanne Russell. Now you had Rayo that was coming off that win against Pitbull Cruz to win that WBA belt. And then with Gary Antuanne Russell, he was on that June card last year against Alberto Puello for, at the time, the interim WBC super lightweight title. And in that bout, he ended up on the short end of a decision there to Alberto Puello for his first professional loss. And so he's going into this bout with, a good number of people talking about him, saying that, hey, we had the bout against Puello. Now you turn him right around and he's able to get a world title shot here against Jose Valenzuela. And they're like, oh, how are you able to get, like, as they say, a break here in this instance going up against Rayo? But even with that being said, there are some that kind of like still doubted him, looked at what he was doing as far as like his performance against Puello and saying that maybe, just maybe, he isn't quite there yet as far as like the top level there within the division at 140 pounds. But from round one, we saw from the get-go that Rayo just could not keep up with Gary Antuanne Russell. And at least for me, we saw the Gary Antuanne Russell that we know about, okay? And so he ended up getting almost a shutout decision win. There were a couple of instances where he could have scored some knockdowns, or depending on the referee could have stepped up in there and said, hey, Rayo, yeah, you good from here. You know what I mean? But it was still a great performance there from Gary Antuanne Russell for him to win that WBA super lightweight title, and now he's a new super lightweight champion. Go over his performance and what you like from Gary Antuanne Russell on that night.
So, I don't know if you remember, right? On our last episode that we talked, I was telling you, we need to talk more about, I said, shout out to my guy, Antuanne Russell. We need to talk about that 140 division because it is stacked and it is loaded. Okay? They moving him right where he's jumped from 2 title shots. He jumped from the WBC title shot like you talked about, right back off of a loss into another one. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. Like I say, if you know boxing, man, you know them Russells, they dogs, bro. The Russell family, if you know boxing, they known for being flat out dogs. So I was expecting nothing less than a pressure, dog fight. He gonna get rough. Any of them guys at 140, he will get, Gary Antuanne Russell, he's a tough fight for any fighter out there. Cause he got that crack and he gonna keep coming. A lot of fighters don't like getting punched. So you got a guy that can punch and got pressure, and like I say, just that DNA of the Russells, they just got that. We going from second like one. None of that.
From the first second, they going.
They on TTG. You know what I'm saying? That too, he's an Olympian, man. Like he's a very accomplished amateur. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he's just like I said, another person that the common world don't know. But if you know boxing, my man had 17 knockouts. Every fight he's won has been by stoppage. You know what I'm saying? But this fight went to the full 12, right?
Yeah, it went to full 12. So I mean, going
only
into
one
it,
fight.
Still, had the one fight. It was almost like, the Archer Viterbi of 140 pounds, basically, outside of what happened with Puello.
And it's not like he just was fighting like 17 jigaboos. You know what I'm saying? He was fighting some solid names.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was
fighting former world champions too.
So he earned his ranking up there. And like I say, bro, I knew from the entire time, like coming into that fight, I said, if Rayo if he can't keep Gary off of him, keep Antuanne off of him, he don't stand a chance. And I'm gonna say that about any of the fighters at 140. If you don't got no crack to keep him off of you, it's gonna be tough, bro.
Yeah.
Because he's cracking.
Yeah.
He's cracking.
Most definitely.
And he's rough. You know what I'm saying? He's not just gonna stand. He can fight. You know what I'm saying? Box and all that.
He
but
box, yeah.
he gonna fight. He's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? When people be like that, what's the difference? He's a fighter. You feel what I'm saying? There's boxers like guys that want to jab, move, and 1-2, and then he gonna fight. Get back. You know what I'm saying? He gonna fight. He gonna get rough in there, and it's gonna be a fight. So now that he got a belt, they got no choice but to mention his name. And you don't hear none of them guys at 140, none of those champions at 140 talking about they want a belt now. I guarantee you. And 140 stacked, bro. Like stacked. Richardson Henderson is a great fighter.
World champion.
Great fighter. He's good. Teofimo.
World champion.
Good fighter, man. Good fighter. Now my man Gary. Gary tough. I want to see Gary in a mix with these other guys. You know what I'm saying? On the real note, I want to see Gary. I like to see the best against the best. I like to see who bad. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm with that. Even I don't care if it's my favorite fighter. Like with Canelo. Canelo's my favorite fighter. I still like to see him in danger just to see, oh no, he really is the guy I thought he was.
Yeah, he's the guy. Or see how
bad.
great he is.
I want to see him get beat up a little bit and overcome that and say, nah. I just don't want to see you steamrolling and everything. It's like, are you, you know what I'm saying? You're not. I want to see you
cruising to a win.
I want to see you challenge a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And them guys that Antuanne right now is that guy. He has a belt now. Who's the other champion?
Like I said, you got Antuanne now with the WBA. You got Teofimo Lopez, who's the lineal in WBO. You got Africa Richard Hitchens with the IBF, and Alberto Puello with that WBC now.
Pollo.
Right?
I know he said he won right now with Pollo.
Yeah, he said it didn't matter if Pollo lost against Sandor Martin on that night. And eventually that, Gary Antuanne Russell would get all the belts. Even after he got all the belts, he said that he wants that run back with Alberto Puello. Now that he has a WBA title, Puello won by decision over Sandor Martin with the WBC. They could go ahead and they could have that rematch in a unification bout. So you're seeing, I think you're going to see that in the works because we already got Teofimo Lopez that's going to be fighting there against Barbosa, right? You got Richard Hitchens that's going to be set up for a fight here eventually. He could be against former IBF champion Subriel Matias,
I'm going to say that too though, right? So I know that I seen that Eddie was saying that they trying to get Kambosos, right? When Kambosos loses, I think, like you say, if I'm not mistaken, right now in the IBF rankings, I think Matias has climbed his way back up to that.
He's the new number one guy. So eventually the IBF will call for that.
Do you think they'll make that? Or you think they'll try to?
They should make it.
You think they'll try to,
They should make it. Like, I'm just being real with y'all. Regardless of what happens with Kambosos, yes, he recently signed with Matchroom Bison. Yes, he does have the upcoming fight here. What is it going to be next week in Australia? But I want to see Richard Hitchens versus Subriel Matias. That fight is overdue here at the 140-pound division. I want to see that fight. Don't have somebody in Kambosos that's just getting into the division having one fight that he's likely going to be.
He's not in that equation.
Yeah,
he's trying to get into that equation.
He's trying to get into that equation.
Yeah.
So, have Matias on there. He already won an elimination bout for the IBF. So go ahead and have Matias going up against Africa for Africa to defend that title. And then we can see more unifications there within the 140-pound division. Sorry, Kambosos, but you're going to have to wait your turn. That's what I got on that one.
I mean, like I say, I want to see the best fight the best. You feel what I'm saying? And I want to see the toughest fights. Like I said, 140 is stacked, bro. It's stacked. Like I say, even if not just right off, he go jump into a unification. I still want to see him fight like one of those top guys. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those world champion contenders.
Yeah, world champions, former world champions. Hey,
if you can't, a good fight for
Kambosos.
him.
But here's another one. Who's another former champion? Okay, you had Gary Antuanne Russell that beat Jose Valenzuela, and Jose Valenzuela beat Pitbull Cruz. What about that? Gary Antuanne Russell versus Pitbull Cruz.
I mean, yeah, but I think, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Twan versus like any other champions.
Mm-hmm.
And I still want to see my man Kenneth Sims Jr.
Get in the mix.
I'm a Kenneth Sims Jr. guy, you know what I'm saying? I've seen him go.
Mm-hmm.
He can go. You feel what I'm saying? Like Kenneth Sims Jr. can fight, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to see him get in there in the mix. Like he's ready for that title shot. You know what I'm saying? They're brackets, the guys.
Yeah.
There's brackets, the guys are like, he's ready
like
for a title
We're
shot.
ready for a title shot. It's like right there.
Then his guys are like, okay, we need you to get one more fight, then you'll be ready for a title shot.
Yeah.
And his guys is like, okay, we're trying to get you. You know what I'm saying? It's
get you like
pools.
enter in the rankings.
It's
Yeah,
pool, it's
yeah,
pools
for sure. Yeah.
Like, I want to see what makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see a guy that's not in the right pool fighting the guy that's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want to see what makes sense. And Sims Jr. is a guy that earned his way up the WBA rankings. You know what I'm saying? And he was knocking on a title shot. If I'm not mistaken, with Rio, and I don't know how that worked, but even if he was to fight Twan, I think that would be
That would be a nice fight. That would be a real nice fight.
I think that could be a fight of the year. Because I don't think the local, like the common people know or familiar enough with those fighters.
Yeah.
But if you really was to watch those two fight styles, I mean, people that like the fighters that came through the Golden Gloves and kids and all that, they know each other. You know what I'm saying? They know who these guys are. Twan just being tough, and then Kenneth Sims Jr. is just an overall good, skilled fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro.
Could be, yeah. It could be something. That could be a potential matchup.
I wouldn't mind seeing Twan get a title defense too, though. Before you just jumped into a big. I wouldn't mind
like
seeing
unification or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we can add that. Now, before we go move towards Dave Whitmire and of course Deric Scooter Davis, there with Antuanne. Now, I seen the conversation that was out there with Coach Stephen Breadman Edwards, and he was talking with Mill City Boxing, and he said that, you know what, given what he saw there on that night, that you could potentially have Gary Antuanne Russell as the top ranked fighter at 140 right now, or it could be like, as he said, 1A and 1B with Teofimo Lopez, of course, being the lineal champion there and being there as the champion for a good while, and then having Gary Antuanne Russell right next to him. What do you think about that as far as like the rankings there at 140?
I think that's fair. I do think we got to give T.O., you know what I'm saying? We got to give T.O. his credit. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff he do be saying, like, we got to respect boxing.
Yeah.
He did beat the guy that was the undisputed guy. So, you know what I'm saying? We do got to give him his just due, because he did beat the #1 guy at that time. So
yeah.
He earned it. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, we got to be fair and we got to be honest. He earned it. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I say, Antoine's had a nice path, man. He's took down some solid dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Francis Barthélemy.
Yeah. He's fought. His only loss was the world champion.
Yeah.
His only defeat was a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely agree with he could be 1A, 1B. Like, no question. What is he ranked? You know?
Well, as far as like Antuanne?
Yeah.
Overall, I wouldn't necessarily know.
Okay.
I mean, you got like what they have in Ring Magazine or the TBRB Transnational Boxing Rankings Board, but at least for me, I mean, I could put them up there as far as like top 3 right now. Within the top 3 at the very least. You know what I mean? But outside of that, like outside of Teofimo, then like who you have, you got Puello. Maybe you could put Puello above him, if, with that win that he has.
Matter of fact, like I said, we gotta respect boxing. I would put Puello over him because he beat him.
because he has to win over.
So we do have to respect that and say, how you gonna have a guy that I beat over me? We do got it. We and then he just had another title defense on top of that. we do got to give him that. So
I think the thing
the
thing about it is that with what Breadman was saying was that Puello has the win over Antuanne Russell, but he felt like Russell was the better man on that night, and then compound that to having the fight that Puello had against Sandro Martin on March 1st, where that ended up being a split decision win for Puello, and some people thought that maybe Sandro Martin won that. So you have that in comparison to Gary Antuanne Russell that has the close loss to Puello, but had the dominant performance against Jose Valenzuela. So that, I think that's part of the reasoning why you had Breadman say, you know what, I'll have Gary Antuanne Russell up there as far as maybe number one or number two. They're 140 pounds right now.
But the best way to figure that all out for them guys to fight.
They gotta fight.
They fight. We ain't gonna have none of that. It's gonna be I beat you. Mm-hmm. What else is there? Or whoever beat the majority of the top champion guys or whatever like that. That's how we gotta do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but like I said, 140, stat. I think to me, it's the best division in boxing right now. I know people might say 35, but them champions don't want to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? Them champions don't want to fight each other, and they just holding the belts.
Yeah.
It's going to be boring in a little while because it's going to be a bunch of defenses. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of title defenses. It's not going to really be what it's supposed to be. Let's try to be great and unified and all that. It's just going to be a bunch of title defenses. So 140, that's the one. And you want to talk about what you said?
So you had the fight there with Deric Davis against Jamal Johnson, right? And that was key there, like how they did it.
Dave Whitmire too,
and
man.
Dave Whitmire, he
had was supposed to be on that card.
Supposed to be on that card, but it ended up being a guys, man. But the thing with Deric Davis, you talk about that situation there with Sugar Shoot too. Like going into fight week, I was talking with Scooter there, and they were saying like, get ready and everything like that, because we were going into that week as him being the very first fight on the card. So when they talked about, when the doors were opening and everything like that, I was like, I know I have to be in Barclays Center at this time to make sure that I see Deric Davis there in his bout. But when they had the whole thing with the cancellations, but not just with Sugar C's bout, but they had another bout that was canceled that was gonna be on the thing there with YouTube, the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions on YouTube, or Amazon on YouTube or whatever, right?
Right.
So that's how they moved Scooter Davis up from being fight one, that'll be all camera, into being the first fight that was going to be on YouTube. And I think that it was really huge there, or really key there for Scooter, because he was able to go in there, show up and show out and get that first round knockout victory. And now y'all seen the post there on PBC. Y'all see how much how the popularity has kind of like grown there for Deric Davis. So him having not just the win and the knockout, but for it to be on that free YouTube portion, I think really kind of like shot his profile up.
Yeah.
What do you think on that?
I mean, 1000%. Like I said, too, bro. There was a little point in time where I was watching Scooter spar every day for like 2 months straight. You know what I'm saying? Literally every well, I don't know how often they were sparring, but every week. Mm-hmm. Every week for like 2.5, 3 months, I was watching Scooter spar every time. Scooter's a good young fighter. You know what I'm saying? They're moving him right. They're letting him get his feet wet and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Scooter has great potential. You know what I'm saying? Scooter looked great. Scooter looked how he's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Scooter has very good jab, good speed. His power's starting to come now. I think he could be stronger. He's strong.
Yeah, he's strong.
But I think once he gets his mash up, we'll see a lot more sharp cutting punches. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Them sharp joints that just gonna
like really
delay reaction joints when you just start. Because he's getting it. You know what I'm saying? He's still, how old is Scooter? Like 22 or something like that? Scooter young.
Yeah, he's young.
Deric Davis, Scooter around the way. But Deric Davis, He young, so once he gets his full man strength, man, he gonna be super special. I wouldn't mind in his next fight though, them seeing like where he's at. You know what I'm saying? Give him some little resistance now.
Yeah,
to
a little
like,
bit more experienced fighter.
so we can see where we need to work on. Because he's looking good against the guys he's supposed to look good against. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, all right, you passed this test. We're going to step you up to this test. And now we need to see what we got to iron out before we get to the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now it's time to see, okay, we need to work on this on the back end. Or, okay, we start this and this and that. Or whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? But the ceiling is high for Scooter, man. It's very all high. You know what I'm saying?
Very high.
Scooter's a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Well-spoken dude. You know what I'm saying? He seems like he got his head on real strong. Good team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Barry and headbangers in them and his pops. You know what I'm saying? He's got a good team, a good support system around him. And I think that matters. You know what I'm saying? So Scooter's one of those guys that they should be seeing on, you know what I'm saying, coming up, man. They should be seeing Scooter. Like, Scooter good. Scooter good.
Yeah.
What about you? What you thought about it?
I mean, like I was saying, he was there to show up and show out. You know, I've had multiple conversations with him, you know, leading into the bout there, you know, during fight week, and for him to, you know, have the performance that he did, be able to just overwhelm Jamal Johnson there within that one round, it was very good for him. You did make that suggestion there that now it's like, okay, first of all, when are we going to have him back in the ring? And two, let's have him in there with the more experienced fighter there to kind of like gauge where he's at. So afterwards, we know where to direct him as far as like, okay, if we're going to build him up or if he's going to be ready for a certain level of fighters. You know, because matchmaking is very important with the fighter because it shows like, you know, what you could do with them, what he's been able to do, what he can work on. If there's like any type of weaknesses that a fighter has, you want to be able to see that early, so that they could work on that, and get that out of the way, and instead of waiting until
the championship time.
Championship time where, you know, you can have it where he's like an upstart going up against an experienced champion, and then could end up getting blown out, and then who knows what happens after that point. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Scooter is so good. Like certain fighters, man, are so good. Just like I was talking about earlier on the last one, I don't know if it was on this episode or the last one, with Canelo. Sometimes I want to see guys in danger.
Yeah.
So that way, one, I can see this. Their mental toughness, the mental fortitude. Do they make the adjustments? You know what I'm saying? I like to see how the corner adjusts. I like to see, you know, the processing. It's like high-speed chess, like they say. I like to see that. Like I said, any fighter. So Scooter, he's ready. I'm not sure what Scooter's record is. Probably like 5-0, 6-6.
6-0, 6 KOs.
6-0, 6. Okay, so this is now those first 5 fights is like seeing what you can do as far as like, okay, you good at this, you good at that, boom. These next 5 is like, okay, let's put somebody in there that's gonna, you know what I'm saying, show a little bit of our weaknesses in a sense. So that way we can make them strong, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So now we need to put somebody in there that can help us peak. You know what I'm saying? Help us start to push a little bit more. Now now you getting in there with those guys that he know I can have my way with. You know what I'm saying? Versus like getting in there with somebody where I gotta, you know what I'm saying, I gotta be a little more,
a little more
and then you
attentive.
see more of that, you know what I'm saying? And like after the fight, like after a tough fight like that, that's gonna make them grow. For example, like Abdullah Mason, right? For example, are they at the same weight?
Right now, 135, yes.
But they don't make sense for them. But for example, Abdullah, in that fight that he had got dropped.
Johan Vasquez,
right?
Was there, yeah.
That fight, and then he followed his follow-up performance.
Yep.
It looked like a flawless
performance.
You know what I'm saying? He looked stronger, he looked sharper, he looked, just by tasting that little bit of adversity. You know what I'm saying? I like to see fighters overcome adversity. And my stock rose in him more when I seen him overcome the adversity coming into this fight. You know what I'm saying? Once he had got dropped and came and overcame that adversity in the fight, I became more impressed by him because I said, one, mentally he's gonna grow from this.
Yeah, he's gonna grow. He ain't gonna check out.
He gonna grow. He not gonna check in when it's time to when sparks stop flying.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna check in. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like to see these guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Like my man Jalil Hackett was saying. We want to know if you can fight now. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to wait until there's no championship fight.
No championships.
We want to know if you can fight now. Like I said, I know Scooter can fight, man. Scooter can fight. What about Dave Whitmire? David
Bodysnatcher
Whitmire.
there, man. He had a very solid performance there against Angel Munoz. Was very comfortable in there, in that bout, being able to execute. He's, been doing this thing here. I think they got him like very, very busy. They had him like pretty busy.
That fight might have been his seventh fight, I think.
They got him right now at 9
fights?
9-0.
Hey man, they doing a good job. Shout out to his team over there, man. Coach Council and them guys. They're doing a good job over there.
He's had at least 3 fights since like early October already.
He's been right.
So,
he's been right.
So they definitely been doing their thing there. You know what I mean? With like you said, Coach Andrew Council, and he has that. He had the bout there against Angel Munoz. Was able to take care of business there, get a clear decision win, and that's another one of those fighters there from the DMV area that's like been very talented. That just has. Under 10 fights at least right now, but you can see that he has like a lot of talent.
Oh yeah, you definitely, mold that. I seen Whitmire fight it was a pro box card at Rosecroft in Maryland, in Fort Washington. I seen him fight, I forgot the guy he fought, but
yeah, that was Nelson Morales there at Rosecroft, yeah.
Whitmire is a good fighter, man. You know what I'm saying? Good. I think he's young though. He's like maybe under 21 tops, I want to say. But he's got a good, solid jab. You know what I'm saying? I love to see fighters with jabs. We can add all that extra stuff on. But
they got him at 19.
He's 19 years old? You know what I'm saying? Good young fighter, man. Whitmire, like I was saying, good jab, good strong jab. A good jab is offense and defense. You know what I'm saying? It gets you where you need to be, keep them off you, but then also it's like, all right, it keeps your space and distance. And they call him the Bodysnatcher because when he starts putting his punches together, he's got some really crack on his shots, man.
Yeah, he does.
And he's strong right now for 19. He's got some crack on him. So as he do grow into his, frame and get a lot stronger, I can see him really starting to chop some of them guys down. And I know Council, man. Council, he pushes those guys.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I'm saying? So like as far as the matchmaking on that, he gonna always give those guys fights where they gonna have a little bit of resistance to overcome. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna see none of them guys just be like
just
laying down, laying down. You know what I'm saying? There's always gonna be some guys that's gonna be. It might even be a guy from a weight class above. You know what I'm saying? They coming down. It's like, hey man. But Whitmire is a good young fighter, bright future. I definitely think the world needs to start locking in and paying attention to guys like that. Scooter Davis, Dave Whitmire, Sugar Sheed, my guy Dwayne Holmes, who else? My man Shaquille Daly. There's a lot of Frankie Scarborough.
Yep. That you mentioned.
Who else, man? It's a lot of guys, man.
Right. Irvin Fuller, yeah.
The third. It's a lot of guys, man, from the area that the world, you know what I'm saying, is just starting to find out about. But these guys are good, solid, young fighters, man. Seriously, like I think they got a pro box card. We're not gonna do too much, but there's a fight card coming up.
No. That's the thing that I was gonna mention.
It's a good fight card coming up.
You mentioned Frankie Scarborough, right?
Yeah.
But also, guess what? Dave Whitmire is gonna be right back in the ring.
Yeah.
At the Maryland Live Casino, April 12th. Frankie Scarborough is going to be on that card, April 12th. Pro Box is going to be on Pro Box TV. there. So it's gonna be a really stacked card over at Maryland Live Casino. But yeah, like David Bodysnatcher Whitmire is gonna be right back in the ring there on April 12th. So you see how busy that very active there with Andrew Council.
That helps. When you can get back in there and correct your mistakes instantly, that makes you nothing but a better fighter. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I like him overall because he's got solid DNA, man. Like he's a good fighter. He uses his jab. He knows how to place his punches. You know what I'm saying? Patient. You're not careless. You're not just trying to rush in there and just get a knockout. And you know what I'm saying? Very strategic with his, you know what I'm saying, punch placing. He don't waste a lot of punches. You know what I'm saying? And I can see it's like a lot of maturity. Going to be, what you say, 19?
19.
He has a lot of good maturity in his fight game that as he continues to grow older, he can be special, man. He can definitely be special.
Yep.
What you thought about the fight?
I mean, for him, I thought it was something there where he, properly executed what he needed to do there in that bout, against Munoz, and I thought he was, he had a couple of instances there where he could have, went in for the stoppage, but credit to the opponent, he was there and in there tough and everything like that. So you had Whitmire getting that decision win. He's there, so undefeated. Like I said, very active. There at just 19 years old, getting right back into it on April 12th. You definitely are going to see a lot more here from David Bodysnatcher Whitmire, and I see him as another one of those rising young fighters there within the DMV area that you got to look out for. So so that's what we had there as far as like what we wanted to talk about there for March 1st. So once again, we're gonna get right back at it. We're gonna talk about the fights that are coming up tomorrow here at the Caribbean Resort in Orlando.